And hello, everyone. I'm Chaz Bryant from Carolina Warrior TV alongside John Morehouse. I believe he's on, if you're looking at the left side of the screen or right side of the screen. He's from MMA-Insider. We got some big things coming up this past month and this month coming up. It's the end of the year. It's almost like our blowout special. We're going to be talking about everything MMA related in the Southeast. I guess that's how we put it, John.
Yep, and apparently at least one of my dogs is excited about the year-end blowout special. I don't know if you heard the high-pitched bark there, but,
I had to put our dog out in the living room so she doesn't come in here and try to take over this whole experience here. But we had a great card down here in South Carolina, and I'll start with that. It was the Hard Play MMA show. This was their last one of 2014. They're fairly new. MMA promotion here in the Carolinas. They had a show down in Myrtle Beach earlier in the year, and they had two shows here in Rock Hill, not too far from where I'm at right now. And it was a great show showcasing a lot of the younger guys, some of the up-and-comers coming up through the ranks, a lot of guys from high stand. They won their fights, and a girl from our team, Erica, picked up her first fight in her debut fight over a veteran in the cage, a girl who had 3 fights, so it was very entertaining.
Yeah, against Shamir, who actually is one of the people who helps me out on the side, which was kind of interesting. That was a crazy fight, because I've never, in the 3+ years doing this, seen an amateur debut who they had to find like 7 or 8 different opponents just before they could find somebody willing to fight her. That was a new experience.
You know, the thing about Erica, she was ready to fight. She had a little bit of small training, of course, in the grappling tournaments and a couple of little things, events put on before some freedom fighter shows. But yeah, she went through a gauntlet of fighters, about 7, 8 fighters before she finally settled on this one for the show this past Friday. So, hats off, congrats to her. We also had Avery Evans from our school, who went out there, put in an award 3 rounds, but unfortunately he didn't get a decision. But it was a, overall fun card. You had a guy down there in Tennessee who came up, got his first pro win in his pro debut, Nick Garrett's. I believe that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
I believe that had to be the most entertaining fight I've seen in a long, long time. Not just due to how technical he was, because it looked like to me he had a couple chances to win that fight versus a very experienced Daniel Cherry. But Nick came out there and he was laughing his corner. We were just talking the whole time, and I was laughing. And he came close to where the commentators were for MMA on the Rise and those guys. And he just started something was said, and I started laughing. And he turned and looked at me and said, "What are you laughing at?" And we had a big chuckle right there, but it was a very entertaining fight that Nick put on.
That sounds like Nick. I wasn't there clearly, but that all sounds like something that Nick would do. So he's fighting again this Saturday, actually. So he's having his first 2 pro fights 8 days apart, which is ambitious. That's ambitious, to say the least. He had his debut, and 8 days later he's fighting at a All-Pro Valor Fox event up here in Pigeon Forge this Saturday.
Yeah, he's a 19-year-old kid, if I'm correct, so he's still fairly young, and he's still got that young person muscle and frame, so he's able to put on those fights. Just like you touched on right there, you got Valor fights coming up. I believe on Saturday. You just said you're going to be rocking the mic again, aren't you?
I am. I'm going to be commentating that one, which is always an adventure. I've only done it like 3 or 4 times, but they seem pretty happy. Background noise. Sorry. There's just going to be background noise on this because my dogs have decided to be difficult. But, yeah, and it's the first all-pro show in that promotion's history. Can't really remember another, aside from maybe V3, another regional promotion to do an all-pro show. So, it's exciting. Hopefully more opportunities. The thing I hear all the time from guys is when they're amateurs, they can find all kinds of fights. And then when they go pro, those opportunities kind of dry up. They're a lot harder to find unless you're willing to go out of the area and fight the hometown hero from somewhere else. So hopefully this is the maybe a little bit of a turning point and a chance for that will yield more pro opportunities, region wide. I think that would be good for everybody, good for the scene. And obviously there's a lot of logistics that go into that with commissions and fees and all of that. But, we can hope. The more chances you guys have to fight, the better.
Absolutely, especially as hopefully as the shows go, as the economy goes, hopefully turns better. More of these shows pop up, and it sounds like going into late 2014, 2015, that this might be the case, and it's a good thing seeing some of these guys get a chance, especially moving on to the pro ranks, that they might be able to stay home and fight in front of their fans like that. So hats off to you guys putting off a show down there and pro show down there in Tennessee. You also have the Evolution show coming up. You might be have a little information as far as that.
I do. I really, and it seems like the main event if there's one fight right now in this area in East Tennessee that has the most buzz, it's probably the main event of that Evolution show, where you've got Adam Townsend, who I would say is the most popular fighter in this little area, going against Eric Calderon, who is pretty well known in North Carolina. That's a main event with some buzz around it. That's got a lot of people excited. It seems like it's a pro-am show. You got a lot of other Tri-Cities, East Tennessee pros on there. Tyler Minton, who was on the last season of Ultimate Fighter. Dustin Walton, who's been around for years and years on the scene in this area, and actually coaches Adam. Dustin Long, who tried out for last year's Ultimate Fighter. Probably would have made it if he hadn't hurt his knee. Balakemp was going to be on the show until he hurt his knee while he was out there in Vegas. So that's going to be a big one. So there's two big shows back to back up here, which means lots of work for me and my crew, but hopefully lots of clicks. So you want all the clicks at MMA-Insider, which is going to be backwards, but that's okay.
I don't even have one of those T-shirts to help promote Carolina Warrior TV. That's where do I get hooked up one of those fabulous T-shirts?
I'll get you one of my shirts, one of the MMA-Insider shirt. You want an MMA-Insider shirt?
What? I can just put tape. I can put like the asterisk,
okay,
or the ampersand, and then have Carolina Warrior TV somewhere posted on my shirt and body. But yeah, as you touch on that, and just like I mentioned in the beginning of it, we got a couple of good fights down here in North Carolina. As like we said, they're wrapping up. We got the Fight Lab 42 card coming up 14th, and it's got a couple of big names on there. Just running through some of these, you got Marcus Flo on here, who's been a champion in a couple of events. Trey Singleton, who's known around these parts as turning pro. He's also been a champion in the Fight Lab. Got a couple of big pro fights. I don't know if anybody's seen the bad blood between Tommy DiBernardo and Nick Grady. That's a big one.
Highly entertaining.
Yeah, it's been very interesting if anybody's seen it on Facebook. Alan Greenway, who's a very popular fighter in the Gastonia area, just popular already all over the Carolinas. He's taking on Sam Yor, Cody Wilson versus Elder Ramos. And the guy who's probably a couple of feet away in the living room watching TV, Keith Richardson, taking on a very game Rusty Crowder. This is going to be, I think, the 140 a weight class. So if anybody's around the Charlotte area, this is one of these blowouts that I mentioned that Fight Lab has, and this is going to be off the hook, if kids even use that term anymore. The fight's coming up on the 14th of Friday.
I'm older than you, so I don't know.
Do you still use off the hook?
I don't. No. I don't think I've ever said it. I can probably maybe like it's off the hook of like the hook on the back of the bathroom door where you hang stuff off the hook. I think that's the only way I've ever used it. I'm old and lame though, but I get to come to this Fight Lab. I'm excited. After like a year and a half of doing stuff on them, I'm finally going to get to come to a Fight Lab show. So that's going to be exciting.
Where are you staying at?
I'm probably just going down and back.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll have to hook you up with some hotel room or something like that. Stay in the fabulous Queen City.
Maybe. I don't know. I got it's a lot of stuff. The reason I'm able to go is it's a Friday, which is good for me. But I got stuff going on up here on the next day, so I really just need to get back. So head down with one of my correspondents, see the city, see all the fights, see all the punching, and then head back. I'm just glad I finally get to go to a Fight Lab show. Something I would like to see, and I don't know if it would even be feasible, is I would like to see some like Tim Lloyd with Valor, Kenny Letts and Cornbread with Fight Lab get together. Let's have a Valor versus Fight Lab show. Have it at Cherokee. I think that it's kind of in the middle. Yeah. You have the Tennessee and the Georgia guys against the North Carolina, South Carolina guys. I think that would be awesome.
It might be pretty entertaining. There might be something you might want to sneak in there with the pit boss whenever you get a chance to see him on that Friday whenever you come in. So it might be a possibility. The matchmaker, of course, is Michael Cornbread Allen, and he always puts on a fabulous card, so he might be open to having guys come in and see what the guys on the other side of the border can do. He's from those parts, the wilderness, the mountains of North Carolina, so he might have a good in.
Who knows, man? I think it would be a sight, and I think it would be a pretty popular ticket because you see some matchups you don't see a lot of other places. I'm excited to see Cody Wilson in person again. I think that's a guy who doesn't get enough attention. I don't feel like, because he's really, really good, and I just feel like he's got a lot of potential, and maybe part of that's like my fault and other media people, but I just feel like he doesn't get the respect that he's earned so far.
And he trains with a great group of guys down there with Jimmy Fowler. I believe they train about an hour or so away from here. So they're always putting out absolutely terrific fighters out there with Jimmy Fowler and his team. So hats off to Cody. And just like you said, he's starting to get the recognition that he needs right now, because I believe he's on a 4 or 5 win streak inside the Fight Lab cage, and we'll see what he's able to turn out on the 14th.
Sounds good, man. It's a busy November, the sort of the season finale of MMA, because in December everybody's saving money for the holidays and nobody wants to cut weight. So Absolutely. This is when our season ends, so to speak. I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to have to cut weight at Christmas.
No, especially with the food and all the stuff, because I like to eat. Before I go, I do want to mention Warfare also has a show. We might be able to touch on it on another show. Another webcast, but Warfare has your show and features the return, I believe, of Jared Scoggins, the brother of the Scoggins. I got the name right now, but Jared Scoggins makes his return inside the cage, so that might be a pretty entertaining event.
Yeah, Justin Scoggins' brother, I think, is what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And is he still fighting? If he's still supposed to fight Meshack Adams, that could be a really entertaining fight.
I believe
if that's still happening.
That was the other name that escaped me. So, yeah, I believe it's still happening. I need to check the card. But Andy Hall puts on a great show down in Myrtle Beach with the Warfare crew. Anything you want to mention before we get out of here?
Not really. I'm, as always, happy to be working with you and Carolina Warrior TV. I think combined, we cover the Southeast as good as anybody, man, as far as just, trying to keep it impartial and neutral and just get the information out there. I don't really have an agenda with the website other than just giving fighters and promotions a platform. Not a lot of other media coverage out there. I'm biased, but I think we're about as good as anybody as far as getting you the information about the fights and the fighters and letting you know kind of who these guys are as people. And on weekends, getting the information on fights, not just happening in the Carolinas, but Tennessee, Georgia, Pennsylvania. We're really getting kind of all over the map, Florida. So MMA-Insider.com is really your source for that. And then for all the pretty moving pictures, there's Carolina Warrior TV.
I think absolutely. I'm going to take it even one step further. We are the best at covering the Southeast United States with all the information with the combined forces of MMA-Insider and our pretty moving pictures of Carolina Warrior TV. We do bring you the best, and we'll see you later on down the road. Make sure you do check for MMA-Insider and Carolina Warrior TV for the best in information. Thank you, John.